Stugotz here for Hotel Tonight. You know, staycations are just as good as vacations, so why not knock off that hotel you've been putting off staying in right now with Hotel Tonight? Hotel Tonight is fantastic. It's an app, not a website, just an app. It's easy to use. I love it. My friends love it. Hotel Tonight partners with great hotels to get you incredible deals for tonight, tomorrow, and beyond. In fact, a friend of mine recently up in New York City, I told him about the app. He needed a hotel room that night. He used it that day and got himself at one of the nicest hotels in New York City, got himself 40% off what he would normally pay for that hotel. It is simple, guys. They partner with some incredible hotels and get you crazy good deals at super cool hotels, or you can actually book in advance. If you're more of a planner, it's an app only, which means it's really easy to use, and you can book a room in like 10 seconds. Seriously, time yourself. You can do it. Book next week, tonight. Book next month, tonight. Book for Memorial Day weekend, tonight. So download the Hotel Tonight app and start booking better deals at better hotels right now. Something better just came along. Hotel Tonight.
Decking, railing, lighting, furniture, fencing, framing. At Trex, we make the most in outdoor living because you deserve to get more from your life outdoors. So why not start bringing your ideas to life now with the brand that's engineering what's next? To learn more about all of the outdoor solutions Trex has to offer, or to find a local retailer or a certified Trex Pro deck builder near you, visit Trex.com. That's Trex.com.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
Guillermo, put on the poll here. Does Draymond Green, somebody sent me this on Twitter, does Draymond Green look like he's shooting while wearing a backpack? It feels like he's got something on his back. If you're watching last night, there's a lot that people are talking about today. A lot of people wondering, do you think Thompson should be suspended for the next game? I just want to laugh today, okay? Because we rarely do the cosmos combine in a way that give you the moment that last night gave you when one of the guys who would be first ballot Hall of Famer, first team, all airhead, bimbo. He'd make any Hall of Fame in sports, that guy would be at the epicenter of turning a game at the height of professional basketball into everyone wondering afterward whether or not he forgot the score. And then he lies about it, or it appears that he lies about it, although you can never tell with JR. Maybe it was true at the time to him.
Well, the funny part about that is Tyronn Lue came on. He had his press conference first, and he said, no, J.R. Smith thought that we had the lead. And then J.R. Smith, after Tyronn Lue says that, says, no, he lied. That's what he did after his coach had already said.
And the voice, the lip readers seemed to see him telling LeBron, I thought we were ahead. And as you watch everything that was happening there, I just want to spend today laughing. I don't care who gets suspended. I don't care that Kevin Durant was soft and meek and played a really lazy basketball game last night that should have ended with J.R. Smith, who was much shorter than him, out-rebounding him on the easiest rebound in the sport.
Yeah, he went there to be lazy. I'm done.
I know. I don't want to do that show, though. I don't want to do – he absolutely was totally lazy last night, and it doesn't matter. He wins even though LeBron becomes the first player ever to lose a game while scoring 50.
You sure you don't want to do the show where we zoom in on Kevin Love's feet and see that he came off the bench during an altercation, meaning he's suspended for game 2?
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm positive I don't want to do that show. And I don't also want to do the show about whether or not Mark Schwartz was wrong in the press conference or LeBron James was wrong in the press conference, because this is so tired, man. Listen to me. Those press conferences exist for us to ask stupid questions, and the best case scenario for everyone involved, except for the athlete, is that the athlete gets mad.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mark Schwartz did his job. LeBron did his job as a teammate, not throwing JR under the bus.
You can quibble all you want with the way they both did their jobs. Whether LeBron was a diva, he's emotional. Like, how could you not be after playing like that and losing because your teammate forgot the score?
Because we're going to forget a 19 of 32, 51-point performance.
And many of you are blaming Mark Schwartz for badgering LeBron James. And that's fine. You can blame him if you want. The easier question would have been, LeBron, did J.R. Smith know the score? Do you think J.R. Smith knew the score? Yes or no? but that's not how he asked it. And then he had to ask it 4 times. And what I'm telling you is that somehow, listen to me, this is hard to do right here. JaVale McGee, I don't know what the hell he was doing last night. He is 7 feet tall and unbelievably athletic. For him to be an afterthought after just being totally alone under the basket and getting stuffed by the rim when he's he was in a dunk contest.
He was?
His nickname is the Javelevator.
For that to just get forgotten, I just want to laugh that the idea, listen to me, at the height of professional basketball, when things were being decided yesterday and the referees were confused because we've got to give the superstar treatment. But what happens when it's LeBron as a superstar and Kevin Durant as a superstar? We have to choose. Let's go to replay. At the height of that, 4 of J.R. Smith's teammates on the court at the end of a tie game were pointing to him to go to the other way. That's something that happened. And we can talk about whether there's a coach in the league who would have called a timeout because he knew his player was an airhead. I don't know. I ask you, is there a coach in the league that would have had the wherewithal to predict that J.R. Smith was going to be J.R. Smith and know to call timeout?
LeBron tried to call a timeout.
I know he tried to,
yes.
But if the coach, LeBron is smarter than everyone playing basketball.
Yes.
And they should have given him the timeout.
Probably. I mean, he did it once he realized JR had no idea what was going on.
But how can anyone expect that? So we've got a lot of different sound here for you, and I suspect that the show is going to get engulfed in this today. Let's start here, though, with our own Mark Kestisher. And I feel bad for him because J.R. Smith confused even him, right? Like, we could sit here and say Ty Lue. Like, I'm sure Mark Kestisher is very good at his job.
I would say on the long list of people who are not pleased with J.R. Smith today, I would say LeBron is first and Mark is a very close second.
All right, here is the call of the end of that game. And I need to tell you, if you're just getting into your cars or you're just hearing any of this for the first time, this game is tied. And J.R. Smith got a rebound. And J.R. Smith didn't know what the score was. And J.R. Smith went to dribble out the clock. J.R. Smith, originally, because I didn't understand what he was doing, I legitimately thought that he was going toward the other basket. That he thought it was a fast break. I'm not even kidding you. That was my original thought because I'm like, what is it? Where's he going? I'm like, he's taking off so fast. And then Clay and Steph chase after him. It would have looked like that if it had been a fast break toward the wrong basket.
We honestly can't rule that out.
You can't rule anything out.
It should be noted that JR would have had a clean-ish looking look if he just put the ball up immediately.
Yes.
Bunny?
Yes, he had options there. He timeout, put the ball back up, or get it to the greatest player we've ever seen play who's wide open.
Don't want to talk about the option. You're not done. You're going to get in every time during the course of the show when I'm trying to make fun of all this and rip Kevin Durant and try to analyze the game.
I got it out of me, I'm telling you. But that's the reason, by the way, that people criticize Kevin Durant. That's they see LeBron drag a team 51 points, and Kevin Durant's never done it. I'm done.
So, you end up in a press conference situation after the game where after all this has happened and after LeBron James is angry, where the press conference afterward was amazing because he's finished with his steaming, hissing anger, trying to avoid Mark Schwartz's question. He gets up to reveal that he is wearing a suit and the pants are cut in half. He is wearing shorts that are the same as the suit. He chose all of that, headed to the arena. That was something someone made for him, and he thought was a good idea. So he goes down on his pants to straighten them, or his shorts. What are those called? Short pants? What are they called?
I'm going to go with shorts.
Yeah, shorts.
But they're not. It's a suit. He was wearing a suit with shorts. Anyway, so then, amazingly, he grabs, it's, 1 o'clock in the morning, his sunglasses. His very expensive sunglasses. He grabs his earbuds. He grabs what we have determined to be a $41,000 alligator skin bag. He storms off looking, I mean, it wouldn't have been more ridiculous if he'd had a red clown nose. You can't be angry with a red clown nose, and you can't be angry looking like that. He grabs the $41,000 bag, and he tells Mark Schwartz, be better tomorrow. I mean, listen to Mark Testa.
I mean, last night he could tell everyone, be better tomorrow, right?
That's correct. He could tell everyone in the world that. Can you play the sound of Mark Kestisher? The sound of Mark Kestisher? I'm sorry, Mark. I mean, I'm sorry. J.R. Smith confused even a consummate professional.
Hill dips, free throw up, free throw's going to be short, rebounded by Smith, 2 seconds to go, he dribbles out, they got a foul, they can't get him, the Cavaliers on the road, stunning the Golden State Warriors in game one. Tied at 107, my bad, tied at 107.
Oh. Mike, just isolate that, my bad. Oh. We'll get back to that in a second. Also, in Spanish, on Spanish, Hispanics can do all of the enthusiasm of sports slightly more flamboyantly than the rest of fans. Rafael Hernandez Brito, 87.7 La Mega. That's the courtesy to be given to this sound. Listen to this sound in Spanish.
Gira en su mano izquierda, dobla las rodillas, la pone en órbita, Gil, falla el segundo, el rebote es de J.R. ¿Por qué salió J.R. si estamos perdiendo por uno? Estamos empatados. J.R. Smith, qué falta de mente de J.R. Smith, Dios mío. J.R. Smith, ¿qué pasa? ¿Qué falta J.R. Smith? Qué barbaridad, qué manera de no estar en el partido, okay. J.R. Smith.
Guillermo, we got to translate the end of that because you know, ay Dios mío, right? Hold on, Guillermo, we got to it was moving too fast for me to translate it, but that was the correct call, and even that announcer got confused because he's like, wait a minute, they were down one, they were up one, because everyone got confused. Guillermo, help me with this because I couldn't keep up with the translations. I don't know how to translate que barbaridad. Like, it's sort of what an atrocity. I don't.
There's that, and he asked what's missing in J.R. Smith's head also. All
right. We got to do this again. We got to go through this again. No, listen. The things that happened here at the end of the game with everyone confused, they absolutely had the best call. I didn't think Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy were nearly strong enough in real time about how boneheaded that was. Like, because it just confused all of us.
Yes.
And so these announcers got it closest to right. Guillermo, let's just find the funny sentences. You translate some of them, I'll translate some of them.
Gira en su mano izquierda, dobla las rodillas, la pone en órbita, Gil, falla el segundo, el rebote es de J.R. ¿Por qué salió J.R. si estamos perdiendo por uno? Estamos empatados. J.R. Smith, qué falta de mente de J.R. Smith, Dios mío. J.R. Smith, ¿qué pasa? ¿Qué falta J.R. Smith? Qué barbaridad, qué manera de no estar en el partido, J.R. Smith.
I don't know how to translate que barbaridad. It's sort of like what barbarianism. Right? I don't even know how to translate that.
He was also confused about the score too. Did you notice?
Yes.
He thought they were down by one.
Yes. Well, I'm telling you, J.R. Smith confused everybody last night. This announcer's asking, ¿Qué pasa? Why did you do that? He's just yelling, why did you do that? You can't play that enough. J.R. Smith was not the only one confused. It's like his confusion was allergic. We all had an allergic reaction to it. I'm telling you, I thought he was fast breaking in the other direction. I'm like, am I sleepy? Is it late?
Well, I think there's something to it because Steph Curry was confused watching JR, which gives credence to he was chasing him down the court playing defense.
This is what I'm telling you. If you really want to surprise the opponent with your game plan, do something like that somebody's told it. They do all this preparation. Nobody was prepared for that. Not a broadcaster, not Mark Schwartz, nobody.
The earth was thrown off its axis last night.
Well, that's how he started the call in Spanish. That Spanish announcer described the free throw as he puts the shot in orbit.
Hey guys, this is Mike Golick. And this is Trey Wingo. You ever wish you could wake up early in the morning and have donuts with your dad and us? For Father's Day this year, you can. We're teaming up with Sport Clips Haircuts for a Dad's Day getaway. An all-expense paid trip to ESPN, including a day spent with us on the show.
Plus, my son Junior, it is for Father's Day, isn't it?
Register for your chance to win online at sportclips.com/ESPN and make priceless memories.
No purchase necessary. See rules at sportclips.com/ESPN. U.S. only. Age 18 and up and 6/15/18.
Dan Le Batard.
Forget the off-court stuff now, because I already brought that up. That's far more serious, and I appreciate your answers with that. But on the basketball court, on a lighter level, you have put a spotlight on your sons.
He put a spotlight on him.
If you are just joining us, we are watching First Take. We go back now to live coverage.
Stugotz.
But Daddy elevating him the way that you do. You cutting checks. Your son's going to have to cash his max.
Cutting no checks. Y'all the one trying to cash these checks.
LeVar, does it ever seem to you like everyone's outraged by a lot of people who
Max, get out of the way, Max!
Yeah.
Max, get out of the way!
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
So Pablo, Torre, and Bomani Jones are going to join us here in 10 minutes. They've got a new show coming out Monday. I suspect that they wish their show was coming out today. This is a good day to talk about sports. We rarely get enveloped by a single issue. Last time it happened is because J.R. Smith threw tortilla soup at an assistant coach, Damon Jones. We've got a long list of J.R. Smith moments in front of me. They typed it very small so it could remain on one page. I'm wearing glasses and don't see so well anymore, so this is going to be a bit of a challenge. But it's a long list of the resume of J.R. Smith he was uniquely qualified to be what ZipRecruiter would hire in that spot if it needed a moment of airheadedness. It was a great rebound by J.R. Smith. Kevin Durant deserved to lose that basketball game last night, and it should have ended right there with him. I don't even know why J.R. Smith was there on the free throw line. I'm not even sure why you would put him. He's a decent rebounder. He's okay, but among the guards in that game who are rebounders, he's not the best of them.
Right. I have no idea why J.R. Smith
But so you're
would be
putting
there.
the idea that he would push, and first of all, let me just start here, okay? George Hill, you've been playing all your life for that. All your life you've been playing for that moment. They traded for you so that you could have that moment. Everyone's always trading for you so that you could get there.
The man who had 51 points passed you the ball.
You're an 81% shooter. You make the first one. It was weird how badly he missed the second one. Mm-hmm. You're a good free throw shooter. Guillermo, put on the poll. Was George Hill happy JR did that?
No doubt.
Because people are not going to say very much today about George Hill.
Nope.
It all the slander falls to J.R. Smith.
He took so many people off the hook. And he did. He took the referees off the hook. Anyone who made a mistake in that game, wherever, he has taken them off the hook.
He took the Colangelos off the hook. He took everybody off the hook.
I can make the argument J.R. Smith was a good teammate to George Hill.
And then LeBron, well, that's what's great. And then LeBron was a good teammate to J.R. Smith, and all that happens there is poor Mark Schwartz gets trampled. Because LeBron was doing the leadership thing. Again, though, I want you to go find the video. Because if I were doing a Saturday Night Live spoof of LeBron James in a huff, leaving a press conference in the funniest way possible, in the most diva way possible, I don't know what else I would add to have him pick up. He took his sunglasses at 1 o'clock in the morning, his earbuds. He very delicately, like he should have slapped Mark Schwartz with a fencing glove on his way out. He grabbed a $41,000 bag that we learned earlier in the show is a Thomas Brown bag. Thomas Brown is THOM because of course, and it's Brown with an E on the end. The E means an extra $17,000 on the bag. It's alligator skin, thin skin. Picks up alligator skin and storms out. And his last words in a rhetorical flourish to Mark Schwartz were to spit at him, be better tomorrow.
I mean, how could it have been better?
I'm asking you.
He could have put a scarf and he could have just with a flourish thrown it around his neck. Good day.
Mike, what I am asking you is what in fiction I could add to the elements of this story, which is J.R. Smith forgetting the score, all the questions in a basketball game where somebody went for 51-8-8, and it immediately gets forgotten because the teammate forgot the score, and it's the most predictable teammate possible somehow in a final series that includes JaVale McGee and Swaggy P. You got to be kidding me. And then it got funny. Like, I said, seriously, you're confusing professional broadcasters in multiple languages. Because I heard the Russian call too, and while it was dry and stoic, they were confused too when I read the translations. Everybody, who wasn't confused? Michael Jordan. That wouldn't have happened. George Hill makes that free throw if Michael Jordan's his teammate.
Don Le Batard.
Oscar Robinson had 41 triple-doubles back in 61-62. 41.
Stugotz.
It's Robertson, but...
Big O.
Okay, but...
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
High Noon debuts on Monday. It will be at noon Eastern. It's going to be fun and smart and great. Pablo Torre and Bomani Jones with us here. They are at the center of that. You should watch it. Noon to 1 Eastern beginning on Monday. Bo, yes or no, you wish the show was starting today?
I absolutely wish that the show was started today. In fact, I wish the show had started a couple of days ago when Pablo's boys, the Sixers, wound up in all of that drama. We was going to get to talk about the internet and people being weak behind burner accounts. That's when we should have been on. Like, this basketball stuff is cool, but, that's what I'm here for.
All right, well, let's start there. Pablo, give us what you got on Colangelo that we haven't heard because you've only been doing it in rehearsals.
Oh, man. By the way, these rehearsal tapes, I want them. We can't release them. And I don't want to unreasonably raise expectations, but we have been having a lot of fun with this. And I guess if you're Brian Colangelo, you're having no fun at all because you're probably going to be fired today. That is my sense of it. Talking to people around the Sixers, talking to people who know things, capitalize all the first letters in people who know things as a proper noun. Everyone who should know stuff.
To play the highfalutin sound on him.
Jeez, Pablo. Speak English, man.
I knew this was going to happen. I knew this was going to happen. You were going to objectify my future co-host for his use of syllables and go make my life hard because of that. Come on, man.
But, Bomani, you're trying to sell a show to a bunch of people who are like me.
And yes, I understand that we're trying to sell that. Don't objectify him. Allow me to fool them, and then he'll come around.
Thank you very much for objectifying me by objecting to the objectification of me. Look, everyone is on Twitter.
Oh, come on.
Everybody.
Come on.
That didn't deserve that.
Oh, yes, it did.
Look, this is what I want to tell you about the Sixers story, if you care about this. Everybody is on Twitter. Nobody knows anything more than the Twitter detectives that we are all following. And it turns out that the burner accounts are saying things that people high up around the organization did not know themselves. Right? So this isn't, oh man, it seems weird that this person is a pretty educated fan. No, there is some stuff that the organization never wanted to get out there. And that's the kind of stuff that will lead to this person's firing.
Bomani?
Here's what I got, because I'm not really looking that deep at it. I just want to know it from this level. At what point is it appropriate to sell your wife out? Like, at what point does your wife have to take this L to keep these lights on? Because I don't know what she does for a living, right? It's entirely possible that she is gainfully earning a lot of money herself. That being said, I know they like them cars they drive. I know they like that house that they are in. At some point, you got to point your finger and be like, baby, we got to get this bag, and in order for us to get this bag, you got to take this L for your man. Show me that you love me.
Should he be fired though if it was indeed his wife?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd be fired. That your queen is yourself in a circumstance like this. And number two, I don't care who you told, man. You told anybody that ran out here and told the world about this stuff. You got to pay for the fact that they told, because them telling is you telling. Especially if it's your queen, you should know well enough whether or not you can tell your queen this sort of stuff.
And by the way, it's not even up to us. It's up to Joel Embiid. What does Joel Embiid want out of this? And everything that is public about Joel Embiid's opinions suggests that he does not want Brian Colangelo around.
Pablo, Bo, if your ladies get you in trouble, you're good with that being a fireable offense? Because I'm a little uncomfortable with that.
Why? What you uncomfortable with that for?
Because it's not me. It's not me, and it's not something I intended to be public. It's like it's when we cover like Brett Favre's family shoplifting.
Yeah, but you still told her, man.
No, but that's what happens when you cover Brett Favre's family shoplifting and he's stealing from the store at work. This is not the same as that. Like, if she had just been out here running her mouth about any other kind of stuff, then that would be no big deal. But if she's running her mouth about company secrets and you the one that told her the company secrets, she's not running her mouth. What's mine is yours, what's yours is mine. She running your mouth.
J.R. Smith.
And if you can't stop somebody from running your mouth, you got to go.
Bomani, J.R. Smith, go.
Oh, man, dude, my dad, I can say it on the radio here, my dad sent a text that said, and I quote, dummy of the year, J.R. Smith. My father's 81 years old, bro. Like, that was the dumbest thing I can recall seeing. And the thing, people are like, well, the Cavs should have just called a timeout. Forgive them for thinking that when J.R. Smith got the ball, he would shoot. Why would anybody ever think that J.R. Smith got the ball and his plan is not to shoot? When the hell you ever seen that before?
Fair point.
Pablo?
LeBron James has a photographic memory. We went through an entire news cycle where we marveled at all of the things that LeBron James can precisely remember. And then the guy who is there because LeBron James wanted him there betrayed him because he looked like he should have been enrolled in the concussion protocol. I mean, this is a myth. That's mythical. This is a mythical, wonderful contrast that probably also ranks ultimately as the worst play in NBA playoff history. So yeah,
I hadn't thought about that. Like, what if after that play they would have took JR and they were like, "Look, man, I think we need to get you in a dark room with no noise."
I think it's the greatest.
Seem right.
I think it's the greatest play in NBA history.
Did you have money on the game?
No.
What are the funniest things from last night? What were the funniest things from last night?
I mean, Draymond Green doing the cheerleader thing is pretty high up on the list.
I mean, LeBron James shaming our colleague Mark Schwartz and then standing up at the table showing that he is wearing a suit with shorts. Like,
I'm sorry. How did I forget that? That's number one funny. The Dirty D's Done Dirt Cheap couture that those dudes were wearing coming to the arena. How the hell did LeBron think we going to wear short suits?
Is there a player in NBA history more appropriate to be at the center of that than J.R. Smith?
I don't know. That other team has Nick Young and JaVale McGee, and those guys are probably going to end up being champions. One of them a two-time champion. Nothing makes sense anymore.
They're all champions. They're all going to be champions.
I forgot J.R. Smith is a champion. Well, Nick Young is not a champion. He is not a champion.
He's about to be.
I think the Warriors might lose this series, by the way.
Really?
Dude, think about that 2004 series with the Lakers and the Pistons, where the Pistons had that game one, they came together and they almost won and they lost. And people call that series a 5-game sweep because after that they just went on a roll. And it was not so much about how great the Pistons were, but about the Lakers being at a point where they were falling apart. Don't the Warriors kind of give you that we're at the end of this, we're tired of all of this kind of feeling? They look so unfocused and undisciplined. I mean, it's not like this was just like one game. They've been like this all postseason.
Agreed, but Cleveland was outscored by 40 by Indiana, and they just put together their best postseason performance that we've seen, and they lost anyway.
But see, I don't even know if this was the best performance they put together.
But what if LeBron keeps doing this? That's the thing that I keep returning to, right? LeBron James keeps surprising me, and he shouldn't be surprising any of us. Like he did 51-8-8. We were all pretty shocked. And in retrospect, we should not be shocked by this. If he keeps doing this, the Cleveland Cavaliers are absolutely in this series.
The thing that I'm shocked by...
By the way, hold on, though. They got one great way they can sneak a game out of this, too, and we all know what it is. It's all playing out perfectly for this, but just to get Draymond Green suspended. It can be done.
The thing that shocks me about LeBron James is that a couple of years ago he couldn't shoot. That's a thing that happened. He couldn't hit a jumper, and if he's going to shoot like that, if he's going to pull up and make threes like that, then yes, that's going to be 51-8-8.
I mean, look, I get the feeling with him also, though, if the shot's not falling, we're at the point where he's going to break out the club and go, caveman, just hit them dudes in the chest. And as of right now, the Warriors don't have anybody that can really think of guarding him. Like Kevin Durant doesn't look like he can really do it. Iguodala, I don't know if we're going to see him at all this series.
JaVale looks like he can do it.
Well, JaVale also looked like he can't dunk, which is really hard to do when you're 7 feet tall.
Yeah, and by the way, the entirety of the Warriors bench just laughed when that happened. Like, the confidence level of this team, there is an arrogance, there is a supreme confidence in themselves that even in a game that went to overtime, those 2 free points from JaVale McGee dunking with no one else around, yeah, they didn't need that. That was just pretty funny.
June 4th, that's Monday. Their show debuts, high noon. You should check it out. It'll be every day on ESPN. Good luck, guys. We're happy for you.
Thank you, sir.
Good job cutting him
Ponte
off.
los patines. Time for some ads.
They're going to have to get their timing down on when they talk. I thought they were in the same room while they were doing that. The weekend is full of sports between baseball, basketball, hockey, tennis. Buffalo Wild Wings has a full menu of sports, food, and beer for you. Tell them, Stugotz.
Here's the thing. At some point in the sentence, I'm going to go high. But then I usually end low.
This is your bedroom. This is your bedroom with Blue Chew. Blue Chew uses the same active ingredients as in Viagra or Cialis, but now comes in chewable form. Chewable means better, cheaper, and works faster than pills. No in-person doctor visit, no waiting in line, no more awkwardness. 100% online at BlueChew.com, where your first order is free. Just pay $5 shipping. Use promo code DAN at BlueChew.com and restart the party.
Don Le Batard.
Michael Jordan never scored 70 in a game.
No, but he scored 60-something in a legendary playoff game that they won.
Stugotz.
They lost.
Did they really?
They lost, yeah.
Wow, breaking news.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Malcolm Gladwell going to be on with us later in the show as well. Guillermo, put it on the poll. What was funnier? What would have been funnier, some derivative thereof? What happened? J.R. Smith grabbing the ball and just immediately throwing it up in the air to make the clock expire and then start celebrating by himself, or J.R. Smith fast break dunk on the wrong basket.
So Golden State wins.
That's right. So a buzzer beater where Golden State wins. Because I'm telling you, and put this on the poll as well, Guillermo, did you, like Dan, think that J.R. Smith was going toward the wrong basket? Because that is what I thought. I thought that he forgot which basket was offense. I'm not kidding you. That's what I thought happened.
Let me play the sound of Steph Curry, because I'm pretty sure he might have thought that was happening too.
Unfortunate missed free throw, an unfortunate offensive rebound, and then just chaos at that point with 4 seconds left. I didn't even really know the score based on what JR was doing, so...
I'm telling you, everyone was thrown off.
It is. It is totally disorienting. It's like a viral strain of stupidity. It is. Basketball was afflicted for one moment in time by like the zombie apocalypse, where experts at what they do. The only person who was totally in control was LeBron.
Yes.
Who knew timeout,
yep.
Knew what everybody was supposed to be doing, knew where he was supposed to go. J.R. Smith was supposed to go.
That's not surprising, though.
No, but it's amazing that Steph Curry is telling you. I mean, if you look at Steph and Clay there, they run out in a way like it when he describes it as chaos. It would have looked the same if somebody had suddenly lit both of those guys on fire and they had been like those movie stuntmen. They were just running to wherever JR was, but everyone got disoriented.
I got to watch this again.
Watch what Clay and Steph do, because, Mike, is it true that Jim Rome now has a box of chaos?
Oh,
Speaking of chaos.
Yeah. I'm very upset by this. Very upset.
Clay is cutting up the middle of the court expecting a pass from J.R. Smith.
I don't know.
I am telling you. I'm watching it.
It is.
He's looking for the fast break.
Yeah, he's like, yo, here's your help.
Like, everyone is confused. Like, I mean, and Kevin Durant just ran at LeBron as if magnetized. Like, I don't know where the ball is. I don't know what JR is doing, but.
Well, the most obvious thing for JR to do there is pass it to the greatest player that's ever lived, and Durant thought he was going to do that.
Look at Clay. Clay runs in every direction. Clay, that is not defense. That is not anything. That is Clay looking like one of those inflatable air things in front of your car dealership. It's just he's just hoping to distract. Like if he could have, he would have thrown a beehive in JR's face. Like he's just like Guillermo put it on the poll. At that moment, was Klay Thompson only interested in anarchy? He runs in every direction.
He's trying to run away from people who are trying to battle him.
I want you to now imagine somebody has to do this who's got better internet capabilities than I do. I want you guys to somebody make like a fire suddenly starting and then watch the react. Just play the video as if a fire had exploded in the key, because Clay's reaction would have been the same. And so would have JR's.
Can't watch this enough.
I know. You can't. You can play this video. I am okay.
How do you get the rebound?
Washington, do me a favor. Put on a box on the screen for the rest of the show, running on a loop, that play, please. Put it somewhere on the screen for the next 2 hours so that play is just running on ESPN Ooze for the rest of the show. Tim Kurkjian is next.
Stugotz here for Hotel Tonight. You know, staycations are just as good as vacations, so why not knock off that hotel you've been putting off staying in right now with Hotel Tonight? Hotel Tonight is fantastic. It's an app, not a website, just an app. It's easy to use. I love it. My friends love it. Hotel Tonight partners with great hotels to get you incredible deals for tonight, tomorrow, and beyond. In fact, a friend of mine recently up in New York City, I told him about the app. He needed a hotel room that night. He used it that day and got himself at one of the nicest hotels in New York City, got himself 40% off what he would normally pay for that hotel. It is simple, guys. They partner with some incredible hotels and get you crazy good deals at super cool hotels, or you can actually book in advance. If you're more of a planner, it's an app only, which means it's really easy to use, and you can book a room in like 10 seconds. Seriously, time yourself. You can do it. Book next week, tonight. Book next month, tonight. Book for Memorial Day weekend, tonight. So download the Hotel Tonight app and start booking better deals at better hotels right now. Something better just came along. Hotel Tonight.
At Trex, we know there's a place for wood in your backyard. We recommend the fire pit. But when it comes down to choosing the right material for your next deck, look no further than the superior beauty and durability of the world's #1 premium decking brand. Trex delivers the look of wood without all of the work and the worry, and it's made from 95% recycled materials, which makes it the right choice for your backyard 100% of the time. To learn how to make Trex your next deck, visit Trex.com to order samples.
Every week during the baseball season, ESPN's premier baseball insider joins Dan and Stugotz to drop some hardball knowledge and take your calls.
Honey got me swishing like a dreadlock. She don't wrestle, but I got her in a headlock. Yabba dabba doo, make her bedrock.
Yeah! Here is Dan le Batard, Stugotz, and Tim Kurkjian on ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance with more than 30 unique coverage options available. Progressive knows small business. Learn more at progressivecommercial.com. Tim Kurkjian going to join us in just a second here on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. He takes your phone calls, 786-456-4837. Here's your SportsCenter update. The NBA is monitoring the 76ers' internal investigation of Brian Colangelo as the team mulls over his future. Tiger Woods said that he experienced tightness in his lower back after the first round of the Memorial Tournament. And finally, production on Top Gun 2 began yesterday. Joseph Kosinski is directing the sequel. Kosinski has said in recent interviews that the film sees Tom Cruise's character, Pete Maverick Mitchell, still as an active duty member of the Navy. Kosinski elaborated, the Navy is very different now than it was in 1986. Back then, they hadn't been in any war for 15 or 20 years at that point. Now, here in 2017, the Navy's been at war for 20 years. It's just a different world now, so you can't remake the first movie. It has to adapt. Guys, you know me. I like to be in the action. If you need tickets to the game or your favorite band, look no further than Vivid Seats, the official ticket partner of ESPN. Vivid Seats has options to fit your needs. Make sure you get to vividseats.com/ESPN today for an exclusive discount offer. For all the latest headlines and information, tune in the SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
Guillermo, put it on the poll, please. What would have been funnier, okay? A funnier end to regulation. Nick Young or JaVale McGee intentionally fouling J.R. Smith as he ran away from the basket because they too thought that the Cavs were up.
Therefore taking J.R. Smith off the hook.
That's right.
Yes.
Or LeBron chasing down J.R. Smith and blocking the ball at the wrong basket.
That's the best.
That's the best one so far?
J.R. Smith's going in for the layup.
That's right. That's right. And then LeBron has to run back there and chase it down like he did with Iguodala. Tim Kurkjian with us now. We will have baseball questions. We will have etiquette questions for him. But do you believe that John Kruk looks like every guy swimming in a white T-shirt on a cruise ship? Does Kyle Korver look like the teenager in the horror movie who thinks it's a good idea to hook up with his girlfriend in that terrifying-looking abandoned wooden shack in the middle of the woods?
What does JaVale McGee look like? What is that one again?
JaVale is the inflatable arm man in front of the car dealership. Paul, you're on with Tim Kurkjian, baseball expert.
Hey, Tom. In a game of 2-on-2 between you and LeBron versus Buster Olney and Michael Jordan, who wins and why? Thanks.
Who wins a 2-on-2 game? Me?
You and LeBron.
Yep.
Versus Buster and MJ.
Mm-hmm.
We win.
Wow.
LeBron is unstoppable. He's even too big for Jordan. Now I'll end it there.
No, and Buster, so are you. No, and Buster, bring it. You don't need to end it there. Kurkjian, keep going.
I'm not going to keep going. I'm 61. I'm 5'4.5".
You're better than him.
The other day.
You're still smooth.
I'm terrible.
You're not
but
terrible.
What you're saying that LeBron and Michael's a push. You're saying that LeBron would have the better teammate.
Kurkjian used to play in Ripken's basketball games. Tim, you're good at basketball, even at 61.
I told you we were going to win.
Okay.
I didn't say how. I'm not going any further.
Okay,
You're going to bury. You are bury Buster Olney. Do you watch?
I did not.
you watch Westworld?
No.
Oh, that's too bad because Al Horford looks like artificial intelligence made in the lab at Westworld. Chad, you're on with Tim Kurkjian. Go ahead. Go ahead, Chad.
Hey, Tom, what can the Pirates expect from Joe Musgrove this season?
He's a pretty good pitcher. The Pirates did pretty well on that trade with Garrett Cole, Morant, Feliz, and Musgrove. He's a good pitcher. He's going to be in their rotation. He's going to help them, and he's athletic enough to slide into second base. I like that move, even though the Astros have done better with Cole. I like the move also for the Pirates.
Gene, you're on with Kurkjian. Go ahead.
Que paso, Tanita? What soft drink gives you the best belch?
Ooh.
Well, I only really drink one, and we've been over this. I drink a Diet Mountain Dew every morning. It tastes great. I don't drink coffee. I know it's going to kill me someday, but it's my only vice. So I drink it because it tastes great, and it gives me my best belch because I don't really drink anything other than it as far as soft drinks go.
Do you ever unleash a belch? Does Tim Kurkjian? You're too polite for that, right?
Well, not in public, but when I'm sitting alone upstairs doing my box scores, of course I do. Everyone does that.
No, but how about with your family? Well, around your wife? No?
Never.
Never?
No.
Well, I wouldn't say never, but no, that's not necessary.
Would you agree that Mike Budenholzer looks like a butcher at a human slaughterhouse in an Eastern European country? That is so good.
It really is.
It really is.
I thought the Timberwolves coach was a butcher.
Thibodeau also looks like a butcher.
Yes.
But again,
Mike
Budenholzer looks like a butcher at a human slaughterhouse, though. That's totally different.
Yeah.
That's totally different. Does Hunter Pence look like an 18th century sailor who survived a shipwreck and finally returned home only to find that his beloved wife had remarried a lesser man? Matt, you're on with Tim Kurkjian. Go ahead. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Tim. I got my daughter's first birthday coming up, and first kid, and I was wondering, what do you do for your child's first birthday?
Well, not much. She doesn't really know what's going on, so you just make it as fun as possible. Give her as many presents as possible. We had a 5th birthday party for my daughter for Cinderella, and Cinderella showed up. And I think she was 65 years old. And I think she was drunk. And she came down into our basement and put on the single worst performance in the history of kids' birthdays. And my mother, God bless her, looked at my father, God rest his soul, and said, Jeff, you have to save this party. And my father is the funniest man ever, got up and became Cinderella's assistant and saved the day because she was the worst Cinderella of all time. We were expecting Helen Hunt, and we got Helen Hayes. It was awful. And without my dad, it would have been the worst thing of all time.
How is that the first time that we're hearing that story from you? That is an amazing story. How is that the first time you've shared it with us?
Well, you never asked me about birthday parties. This is organic, Dan. I'm not volunteering stuff. You ask me a question, I'll answer it.
Yeah, it's a fair point.
2-on-2 game.
Yeah, it's a fair. Do you have like a particular thing that you remember that she did?
Why
Tim?
do you think she was drunk, 65-year-old Cinderella?
She stumbled in the front door, and I could not believe it. So she went down. This isn't funny. She took out her pixie dust. This was her big thing. I'm going to sprinkle pixie dust on all the kids. It was the biggest flop ever. And my father just rushed in and said, Cinderella, can I assist you? And it was just, fortunately, was saved from that point on.
Does Jim Harbaugh look like a guy that would stare at an eclipse? Does Marvin Lewis look like middle management? He does. Does Max Kellerman look like he's there on behalf of his celebrity client to deny these outrageous claims being made by the media against his good character? Colin, you're on with Kurkjian. Go ahead, Colin.
Hey, Tim, should I have a taco bar or a nacho bar at my wedding? Thanks.
I'm a taco bar guy. I love nachos, but I think it's a little bit easier. It's messy, but it's a little easier to eat a taco than it is a nacho. And you got to be careful with people all dressed up and get food on their fingers.
Brian, you're on with Kurkjian. Go ahead, Brian.
Hey, Tom, how you doing? So you saw Nathan Eovaldi's last start where he came back with Tommy John surgery and pitched 6 no-hit innings, but it seemed as if he had pine tar in his glove. Do you think he's going to be looked at more closely his next start for the pine tar?
Well, I don't know about pine tar in his glove. I certainly didn't see it, but let's not be naive. Virtually every pitcher out there is using something in order to get a better grip on the ball. Catchers have pine tar on their shin guards. They rub a ball in it and throw it back to the pitcher in order to get a better grip. If he's got it, he shouldn't have it on his glove, but all sorts of pitchers have it on their body somewhere.
Boston, Yankees, Astros. Pick one. You can only pick one.
I love them all. They can all win the World Series, but I'll take the Astros. The offense hasn't gotten going yet, and it is devastating. The starting pitching is historically good, and whatever issues they have in the bullpen, they have the resources to fix it.
Give us your best 30 seconds on what J.R. Smith did last night.
Well, he forgot what the score was. He was running out the clock. He didn't forget what basket he was going to. He forgot what the score was. And I don't think there's a way to justify any of that. It's a horrendous mistake.
Okay.
And it would have been better if somebody had fouled him on the other team rather than LeBron James tackling him. If someone had fouled him instead of to the line, that would have been the greatest in the history of basketball.
Trey Wingo, you got 2 choices here. You got to pick one of them. Are you ready? You got to pick one of them. You're only allowed to pick one. Does he look like the cop on an episode of Law & Order who interrupts the lead detective and says, you're going to want to take a look at this? Or does he look like the anchor for your local news station who finds you the answers because you matter?
Isn't he a statue that came back to life?
I think he is. Yes, he's a statue, came back to life. Yes, he's also family board game night. He's also Trey Wingo, something that sounds like the chicken wing platter at a Mexican restaurant run by white people.
I'll take the second one today. They're all funny, though. All of these are funny. These are so beautifully written. It drives me crazy.
We'll talk to you next week, Tim. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Hey guys, this is Mike Golick, and this is Trey Wingo. You ever wish you could wake up early in the morning and have donuts with your dad and us? For Father's Day this year, you can. We're teaming up with Sport Clips Haircuts for a Dad's Day getaway, an all-expense-paid trip to ESPN, including a day spent with us on the show.
Plus, my son Junior, it is for Father's Day, isn't it?
Register for your chance to win online at sportclips.com/ESPN and make priceless memories.
No purchase necessary. See rules at sportclips.com/ESPN. U.S. only. Age 18 and up and 6/15/18.
Don Le Batard.
It's a beautiful sport. basketball is just hugely graceful.
Stugotz.
In the Western Conference.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
If you don't know what some of those sounds are, my bad is Mark Kestisher last night trying to call the game as J.R. Smith confused everybody. And I implore you to look at that video and tell me that you know for sure that J.R. Smith wasn't headed toward the other basket and he was just stopped because he's like, why isn't LeBron running with me? Like, you tell me, I am asking you to look at that video and tell me that you know for sure that J.R. Smith wasn't starting a fast break in the other direction and that he didn't stop simply because LeBron was standing there saying, what are you doing?
I've watched it 100 times now. I am now totally sure that that's exactly what it is
I'm just unsure. And since he's lying or appears to be lying after the game, he's saying he thought the score was tied. It's certainly better than saying I was looking at the wrong basket. Here's the denial from J.R. Smith, and the denial was not good.
You knew you were tied. You didn't think you were leading.
No, I seen it. I knew we were tied. It's just I thought we was going to call timeout because I got the rebound. Pretty sure everybody didn't think I was going to shoot over Katie right there. So.
And the replay, it looked like you said to LeBron, I thought we were ahead.
If I thought we were ahead, then I would have just held on to the ball, let him foul me. But clearly that wasn't the case.
Here is Mark Kestisher's call. He's with Hubie Brown. He disoriented Hubie Brown. Hubie Brown's got 6 decades of basketball in him. He didn't know what to say to this.
Hill dips, free throw up, free throw's going to be short, rebounded by Smith, 2 seconds to go, he dribbles out, they got a foul, they can't get him, the Cavaliers on the road, stunning the Golden State Warriors in game 1. Tied at 107, my bad, tied at 107.
Imagine you're a Cavs fan and you couldn't watch it on TV.
Yeah, that one hurts. Texter writes in asking, Guillermo put it on the poll, if you're a 65-year-old person making a living performing as Cinderella for children, aren't you allowed to be drunk? Go ahead and put that on the poll. The pipe is my father. One time J.R. Smith climbed into someone's DMs with the following sentence.
J.R. Smith would like to know if you're trying to get the pipe.
And the Spanish language broadcast was the best of all the broadcasts when it came to the game last night. Among the translations here are, oh my God, I believe J.R. Smith has nothing in his head, and what a monstrosity.
Gira en su mano izquierda, dobla las rodillas, la pone en órbita, Gil, falla el segundo, el rebote es de J.R. ¿Por qué salió J.R. si estamos perdiendo por estamos empatados? J.R. Smith, qué falta de mente de J.R. Smith, Dios mío. J.R. Smith, ¿qué pasa? ¿Qué falta J.R. Smith? Qué barbaridad, qué manera de no estar en el partido, J.R. Smith.
Guillermo, what's the best part of that for you? What's the thing? Ay, Dios mío, is something everyone understands, whether you know Spanish or not.
Qué barbaridad.
Qué barbaridad.
That's in an actual broadcast is incredible.
Qué barbaridad. Malcolm Gladwell joins us next.
Dan Le Batard.
People who love this show tend to really, really love Stugotz.
Thank you.
Stugotz.
I mean, yeah, the love is unreasonable for a man of your despicable core.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
A texter writes in, there is no way a description on the radio could adequately describe the monstrosity of a T-shirt that Stugotz has on.
You don't get the show.
That is J.R. Smith's body, is the shirt that he's wearing. He was shirtless throughout the championship parade, and people made T-shirts of all of his tattoos, and Stugotz is wearing it right now. A guy writes in, or a woman writes in as well, by the way, I'm a Cavs fan, and I knew the score was tied, but as JR grabbed the rebound and started running around to kill the clock, I threw my hands up in the air in triumph. Like, he confused everybody last night. Let's see if he confused a modern intellectual. Malcolm Gladwell with season 3 of his podcast, Revisionist History, is available now with new episodes available each week. It's very good. Download on Penelope, and Apple iTunes. Malcolm with us. Thank you for making the time. I know you like your sports, so give us give us what you got on the last few seconds of last night's regulation.
I got nothing on that. That was the strangest ending. I still don't understand what happened. I mean, he's been a little flaky over the course of his career, and maybe he just picked the wrong time to have his flakiness come to the surface. But I sort of feel like that was their best shot at the at the Warriors. I don't think they're going to get that close again. Do you?
But did you think the Cavs won the game last night?
Was a modern intellectual, because I thought J.R. Smith was headed toward the other basket. So I'm wondering if you, as a best-selling author of these books, I'm wondering if you were also disoriented. Did you think the score was no longer tied? Did you think that J.R. Smith had it right?
No, I was just flabbergasted. Well, I was angry. I thought that call, the reversal of the call on LeBron James and KD was an outrage, and so I was in an outrage mode. I was like, from that point on, I thought this game has been the refs just screwing it up, and then that was like kind of icing on the cake. But wow, I can't even imagine how's JR even going to play the next game? This is going to be in his head the whole time.
Oh no, there's nothing in his head.
He's already forgotten it.
Malcolm, there's nothing in there. It's just tumbleweed. What do you mean? He's going to shoot 7 threes? What do you mean?
First quarter.
I'm curious because you love tackling misconceptions, and one of the things you do in your podcast is you correct some common misunderstandings. Do you have a favorite? Because you seem to really enjoy these podcasts that you're doing.
Do I have a favorite? Well, we have all kinds of cool stuff coming in season 3. I'm just working on one now about this hilarious story about the one song Elvis couldn't sing. But I have, the second one. I try and do one sports one every season, and I did this one on the second episode. It's already aired on college football on Penn, and how they had 2 kids commit suicide within 3 years of each other from their football team, and how at least one had CTE and probably the other one did too. And it has brought me back to this long-running, deepening ambivalence I have with football, particularly college football, where I don't see it anymore. I don't understand and I find the response of universities to the kind of deepening crisis over the health effects of football to be really outrageous. I mean, if you're making a kid play for nothing, a dangerous game, and when you have a moral responsibility towards the students to protect students in your institution, how do you make sense of the fact of players committing suicide and then they're later found to have CTE? Like, I sort of feel like, don't you have to deal with that in some constructive way?
Well, you've had moral objections with this for years. It sounds like you're more and more appalled, right? You're about done with it, aren't you?
I'm done with it at the high school and college level. I find the case for continuing to play tackle football to be the way we're playing it now, to be increasingly weak. I don't see it. Like, how can you have a sport where we're only now beginning to understand the extent to which football players are suffering from these neurological conditions? We have no idea how many of them are being materially harmed by getting their head banged thousands of times. And until you know the answer to that question of who's getting harmed and how bad is the harm and what's causing it, how can you continue to play the game? Particularly if you're not paying them. Like, it's one thing if I'm making $5 million a year and I may be prepared to take that risk. But if you're just, if you're throwing these kids out there so that you, the college, can, make a lot of money off the TV rights, I don't know, man. It's a hard one.
Malcolm Gladwell with us again. Season 3 of his podcast is very popular. Revisionist History is available now. New episodes every week. It's I'm going to get that wrong again.
Panoply.
Thank you. And Apple iTunes.
I had it if you needed me to do it. Jack White played with you on a recent podcast. You interviewed him. You had a good time with him, it appears. What surprised you the most about Jack White? Because I think there's a lot of mystery with Jack White, and I know Mike Ryan's a big fan. I'm a big fan. What surprised you the most?
He might be the last rock star. Like, he might be the last. He's certainly the last new rock star we produced.
So that's the episode that comes out. I think he's going to be in the last episode of the season. It was, I have to say, amazing. And he is, what has surprised me, they're always these guys who are stars. When you meet them, you're reminded about why they're stars. So you forget how charismatic some people are. and how the minute he opens his mouth and the minute he starts playing, because he played for me, like I was sitting in this little studio, he starts playing these songs for me, and it's just like, wow, this is not like listening to music on the radio, right? This is like, he has a sort of presence and intelligence and thoughtfulness and charisma that just kind of blows you away. And also, musicians are interesting. I always find musicians are almost more interesting when they talk about their music than they are when they play it, the good ones. And there's just so much more to be understood about music than can be communicated in a song. And so when they start talking about why they make the decisions they do or what the song means, I just find it riveting. And I was having him talk about Elvis, and, he's obsessed with Elvis. And it was just fantastic. I mean, there's even a moment where he played and I sang, which I'm not going to force anyone to listen to that, but I'll be telling that story for many, many years.
Well, what did you understand about his music from him explaining it that you didn't understand before talking to him?
It's the thing that's fantastic about musicians, and it is not true of journalists and writers in the same way. It's a great failure of my profession. Musicians have this extraordinarily reverential attitude towards their predecessors and their peers. So they really see themselves as being part of a tradition. So when Jack White talks about Elvis, he's not just talking about Elvis as a fan. He's saying the work that I do as a musician, all the creativity I have, is a result of what I have learned from these people, right? And musicians openly acknowledge their influences. Writers, when was the last time you heard a writer sit down and before they talked about their own genius, talk explicitly about all the people they learn from? I mean, it happens sometime, but not like it does with music. And I love that part of. So he speaks about, Elvis or Howling Wolf or any of these people. Like he studied their work and he's kind of taken elements from it, and he will freely tell you how much he's a kind of a product of all of these diverse influences. And he makes pilgrimages to Memphis, and he does. It's a kind of serious business. This kind of learning from his predecessors.
Malcolm, my co-host here, Stugotz, just handed me a note that read, Malcolm's Elvis has to be awful. So now we're in a position where we need a sentence of your Elvis. I'm sorry to do this to you, but you brought it up.
You want me to sing some Elvis?
Just a sentence of Elvis. He just says it's awful, and I've got a small wager with him that it's not.
Okay, so my episode is all about the Elvis song, Are You Lonesome Tonight? It's this kind of deep dive into the bizarreness of Elvis. So I'm going to sing you just one line from Are You Lonesome Tonight? The opening line. Ready? You ready?
Yes.
Are you lonesome tonight?
All right. Stugotz wins the bet. Before we let you go, you've got an upcoming episode about Brian Williams and the way people misremember things, I guess. What light are you shining on the Brian Williams scandal?
I'll tell you, everything you need to know this episode is contained in the title. Free Brian Williams. I think he got screwed over. I mean, the only reason, so all of us, when you examine memory and you look at any of us, our memories of incredibly important events are things, and we're all convinced that our memories are perfect, right? If something significant happens in our lives, we're convinced that the way we remember it is the way it happened. When you systematically analyze the accuracy of people's memories, you discover that is not true. Every one of us makes routine and large errors in memory, even of things that are incredibly important to us. What he did in the thing that got him fired was, remember, he misremembered. He said he was in a helicopter that got shot at, and he wasn't. He was in the helicopter behind the one that got shot at. That kind of thing all of us do all the time. The only reason he got caught is he happens to be famous, and he happens to have told that story on the Letterman show, and it got fact-checked. Most of us don't get our memories fact-checked. And if we did, we would be in the same position as him. So the whole episode is all about why are we so extraordinarily judgmental about faulty memory if it's something that all of us do all the time.
Check it out. It's good. It's a good podcast. I'm sorry, we're out of time. Did you have something else? My apologies for cutting you off.
No. I'm always thrilled and glad to be on the show.
Yes, and please be on it more often. Thank you, sir.
Work on that Elvis.
Okay. Bye. I will.
This is your bedroom. This is your bedroom with Blue Chew. Blue Chew uses the same active ingredients as in Viagra or Cialis, but now comes in chewable form. Chewable means better, cheaper, and works faster than pills. No in-person doctor visit, no waiting in line, no more awkwardness. 100% online at BlueChew.com, where your first order is free. Just pay $5 shipping. Use promo code DAN at BlueChew.com and restart the party.
Don Le Batard.
I don't like when, big-time celebrities, they get so big and then they're going to write a children's book. It's an easy cash grab. And quite frankly, I don't need Jack White's advice on how to raise my children. It's annoying. Sorry. Hey, Jack White, please. Let me tell you, the last place I'm going for children advice, for child advice, for parenting advice is to Jack White and his stupid book. Jack White.
Stugotz.
And honestly, who is Jack White? Pretentious Jack White. Hey, I'm going to fire up a children's book. Tell you how to parent your kids. Leave me alone. Just write new songs. Stop writing books. Write new songs.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Game 2 the other night, Washington and Vegas, was exceptional. And the last 2 minutes of that game were spectacular. I'd love to know the first time that empty net was something that was decided by a team and how disorienting it was to the other team, where all of a sudden the first time the goalie is pulled. The last 2 minutes of that hockey game were great, and hockey must be so envious because basketball last night gave us, in the last 40 seconds of that game, 3 things or 4 things that we could have spent this entire show on. Basketball gave us, think about the things that happened there. First, you got superstar and superstar crime and a replay call. That's sports radio for a whole day.
Were any of those things the amazing performance, historical performance by LeBron James?
No.
Oh.
No. No, 51-8-8 is an afterthought because of the 4 things people argue about in sports content. So you've got the replay. So we were going to do the official show.
Yes.
Then we were going to do the George Hill show.
Yep.
Then we were going to do the J.R. Smith running the wrong way show.
That's the show we're doing.
That is the show we chose, but I'm not sure the best option isn't just LeBron's press conference afterward. and I've forgotten just Draymond being Draymond, because that right there is sharks smelling blood. That is right there. Other teams irritated? You rang. Like, here we go, baby. You want, you're irritated? Oh, let me go in here. I'm going to cheerlead at Kendrick Perkins. I'm going to get real near Tristan Thompson, see if I can throw him out of the game.
He was so in his wheelhouse last
my
night,
God.
man.
Draymond Green wanted nothing in the world more than Tristan Thompson to mush that basketball against his face.
Just waiting for it.
Right?
Yes.
Draymond was just, if Draymond could have
Mush that ball in my face.
He could have mooned the Cleveland bench, like he's exhorting the crowd. Draymond is in his element when the other team, everyone wants to punch him. He's like, yeah, I created this. And Draymond thinks that's why they win. And at the end of that game, he did a lot. He did. I mean, it's not just making threes. It's in overtime. The way he closed out on George Hill he's just great defensively.
He was great.
He anchors them defensively.
Yes. Oh, you mean that first play in overtime?
I'm talking about the whole thing changed after that. It's not just the play in overtime. It's he was dribbling down the center of the court and he got the ball to Clay in the corner. That finished the game. We all knew it.
Right. Yeah. The first minute of overtime, essentially all Draymond. Yeah.
Also, very quietly, he's kind of having like one of those Shane Battier postseasons where all of a sudden he just forgets how to shoot the three. Not that he was this incredible 3-point shooter, but you couldn't really. He would bury it if you left him open.
You don't trust him anymore from 3. When he was surprised and we were surprised when he made the 2 threes at the end last night. And Jim Leland used to say about Barry Bonds, and I don't know many athletes you can say it about. Draymond wants the chaos.
Yep.
Like I can't say that about many people I've covered in sports, But you throw a power line on that court of everybody wants to fight, and the person who's going to be standing at the end kicking you right in the junk is going to be Draymond Green.
Stugotz here for Hotel Tonight. You know, staycations are just as good as vacations, so why not knock off that hotel you've been putting off staying in right now with Hotel Tonight? Hotel Tonight is fantastic. It's an app, not a website, just an app. It's easy to use. I love it. My friends love it. Hotel Tonight partners with great hotels to get you incredible deals for tonight, tomorrow, and beyond. In fact, a friend of mine recently up in New York City, I told him about the app. He needed a hotel room that night. He used it that day and got himself at one of the nicest hotels in New York City, got himself 40% off what he would normally pay for that hotel. It is simple, guys. They partner with some incredible hotels and get you crazy good deals at super cool hotels, or you can actually book in advance. If you're more of a planner, it's an app only, which means it's really easy to use, and you can book a room in like 10 seconds. Seriously, time yourself. You can do it. Book next week, tonight. Book next month, tonight. Book for Memorial Day weekend, tonight. So download the Hotel Tonight app and start booking better deals at better hotels right now. Something better just came along. Hotel Tonight. Stugotz here. There's nothing small about your business, your passion, your hours, your reputation. It's all huge. Your partnerships, even bigger. With Dell Small Business Technology Advisors, you'll get the tech, advice, and one-on-one partnership to help your business grow. Because with reliable Dell PCs with Intel Core processors, you can focus on what matters most, getting business done. Call 877-BUY-DELL to speak with an advisor today. That's 877-BUY-DELL.
Don Le Batard.
What did I do today? I didn't blame white people for anything. Is it because I said, can you imagine if Cam Newton did Carson Palmer's sideline dance?
Could have been that. Could have been, body of work, lifetime achievement.
Stugotz.
Well, I didn't do anything today.
Yet.
Give me time. Yep. I got 25 minutes before I can blame white people for something.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
If you do not know what happened in basketball last night, here's the quickest recap I can give you. It was a tie game. George Hill missed a free throw with 4 seconds left. J.R. Smith, his teammate, grabbed an offensive rebound in a game where Cleveland grabbed a bunch of those. LeBron said it was the best game they played this postseason, and they lost anyway because J.R. Smith appears to have not known the score. He grabbed the ball. Instead of shooting it, instead of passing it to LeBron, he ran to try and dribble out the clock. And we begin with Amin El-Hassan. Amin El-Hassan, what the hell?
Man, that gas. Like the East Bay octane is a little higher than what you find in the Midwest, and I don't think JR really accounted for that before he hit the greens on Thursday.
Okay, thank you, Amin El-Hassan. Vin Baker, what the hell, man?
8 months, 3 quarters, and 11 minutes and 40-some-odd seconds, 50-some-odd seconds, and you don't know the score. It's just disappointing. I thought I was watching a masterpiece from LeBron James. I'm a big Cowboy fan, and I thought Leon let all over again. Very difficult to watch last night for the great LeBron James, and squandered the opportunity for the Cavaliers in a series they were heavily favored to lose.
Vin, thank you. Good catching up with you. Always nice talking to you. Trick Daddy, what the hell, man?
Vegas had Golden State favored by 13.5 at one point in time yesterday. I knew that was suspect. And then Tristan Thompson did something very, very ill towards the end of the game after he was ejected. After he was given a technical, knowing 9 times out of 10 he would be ejected for the next game. I think those Kardashians is messing up the playoffs.
Always good talking to you, Trick. Thank you for stopping by. Always a pleasure, Trick Daddy. Izzy Gutierrez, what the hell, man?
I mean, what in the holy hell? Although I don't blame J.R. Smith for being that confused. If I were him, I would have been confused from the second I walked into the arena, because what in the hell was LeBron wearing? How do you get away with that? In what place do you get away with that outside of walking into an NBA arena at night? Like if Jeff Bezos called a meeting of all the billionaires in the world and said meeting was going to happen at the beach and somebody showed up in that, he would still get kicked out of the Billionaires Club. I'd rather, to quote Tina Fey, I'm pretty sure I'd rather see his genitals than see his knees in a suit like that.
Dave McMenamin, what the hell, man?
What the hell starts with what the hell were Tony Brothers and Ken Mauer and Ed Malloy doing down the stretch with the play they reviewed? It applies to George Hill for missing that free throw, of course, J.R. Smith, and ultimately, what the hell was the NBA thinking, changing that beautiful script Finals logo to this block YouTube presents the NBA Finals logo? They deserve to get that bad result. We all love that logo. We need it back, and we got the bad end to a great game.
Excellent work, as always. Mina Kimes, senior writer, ESPN The Magazine. What the hell?
Yeah, don't let LeBron's short suit distract you from the fact that Kevin Love's glued-on haircut had been confusing him with Larry Nance the entire night. I'm walking my dog, Lenny. He just pooped on my neighbor's lawn. Oh. That is what J.R. Smith did to this season. I'm so angry at him right now.
Okay, thank you, Mina. I'm sorry that go clean that up. Frank Martin, South Carolina basketball coach. What the hell, man?
I'm trying to figure out why one opinionated Cuban wants the opinion of another opinionated Cuban about basketball. But J.R. Smith, his actions and looking at LeBron reminded me of being on 8th Street and a game of dominoes and someone starting the game with a double one.
Frank, good catching up with you. Guano, thank you.
Pay the teachers.
Thank you, sir. Yes, pay the teachers, save the whales. Thank you, Frank. Good catching up with you. Matt Eisman from American Ninja Warrior. You're on ESPN Radio. What the hell, man?
Dude, what the hell? This is why Cleveland is not allowed to have nice things. You can't have LeBron James, one of the greatest players of all time, and surround him with people where your dad would be a viable option as the sixth man off the bench. He is doing this all on his own, and if he somehow pulls this off, he'll be the greatest of all time. If not, this is why he's going to leave Cleveland again. Wah, wah.
Thanks, Dr. Matt.
Boxing trainer Teddy Atlas. What the hell, man?
No.
Teddy, what the hell?
Hey, me, huh?
Teddy, what the hell? What the hell?
What the hell?
All right, thank you, Teddy. Good work. Carrot Top, what the hell, man? What the hell, Carrot Top? What the hell?
Yeah, what the hell? What's wrong with your listeners? They're not picking up their phones. I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't watch basketball. I watch hockey. I watch Golden Knights hockey, baby. That's why I know why I watch that, because Steve Levy and Barry Manilow put me on their show. So, all right. I love it.
Thank you, Carrot Top. We appreciate it.
You got it.
Good talking to you. You guys want to call Teddy Atlas back? You guys want to try again? We were doing the degree of difficulty on that. We were spinning a lot of plates here. I feel like we were really my favorite part of it was the Teddy Atlas interview because it was just a bunch of old man sounds.
I thought Trick Daddy was the best until Teddy Atlas.
All right, put it on the poll, Guillermo. Who was the best at Lebentard Show? Put on the poll who was the best. We could try this again. Teddy Atlas, what the hell, man?
Oh, you want to do it again? You guys aren't listening? What, you got cotton in your ears? Come on. What the hell? You got cotton in your ears? Who knew that J.R. Smith was going to become Chris Webber back in the Fab 5 games? And also, what the hell? Who knew that Hill was going to go up there on the foul line for that second shot and look like they were taking the air out of the place? I mean, I hate to knock anybody, but the way he was grabbing for air, that's the very definition of, you know what, choking. What the hell?
Wow. He brought it strong once he could hear us.
Yes. Liked it better when he couldn't hear us.
So did I. I haven't talked to many of those people in months. The idea of bothering Frank Martin with this nonsense. Frank Martin disorienting him.
Tony La Russa wasn't available, by the way.
Oh, who else? Wait a minute. Who's on the list? Tell me who didn't return phone calls.
Mike Francesa. However, Allison texted him as Jimmy, not Mike.
Wait a minute. What happened?
She called Mike Francesa Jimmy in her request. He responded, though. He responded. Can't join any other radio shows.
Oh, that's too bad.
Or Jimmy Francesa. Cha-ching. Time for some ads.
Mike, cut up the interview we did with Teddy Atlas, the first one. Okay?
Oh, great.
I want the first one, not the second one.
Everyone in the neighborhood knew about Bobby. Bobby, the basketball boy, they called him. Bobby wanted to go pro someday, so he was always out in the driveway shooting hoops. But one day, his mom came out and told him,
"Hey, your wife wants you to take out the trash?"
His mom was visiting, and Bobby was a grown man. He had kind of missed his window. Plus, no one had ever seen him actually make a basket. But on the other hand, Bobby had heard how Geico could save him money on car insurance, so he switched and saved. So it was all good.
Dan Le Batard.
Does Sam Darnold look like a Lego policeman?
Stugotz.
Oh,
Wow,
yes. That is fantastic.
That's
yes,
tournament team.
yes.
Write it down.
Number
Tournament
one seed,
team.
right? I mean, man, that is good.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Things are moving very fast today, so Guillermo, I want to be meticulous about this. Make sure you get that poll up about the 68-pound catfish. I just texted the words Barry Manilow, thinking I was doing it to Carrot Top, sent that to Frank Martin.
Ooh, wow.
Right. It's just,
he must be confused.
Things are moving very fast. I mean, Frank Martin was confused the moment he answered the phone because what the hell?
Yep.
So, but nobody was more confused than Teddy Atlas. So let's go ahead and revisit that interview with Teddy Atlas. If you're just joining us and don't know what we're doing, we just go more and more random, calling people, asking them what the hell, and asking nothing else, just letting them fill in the blanks however they want, because sports radio is often just a host asking a question and not listening to the answer, and the guest saying whatever he wants, regardless of the question. And so here is one of the best interviews we've ever done with famed and yammering, because he can talk.
Oh, yeah.
Boxing trainer Teddy Atlas. Boxing trainer Teddy Atlas, what the hell, man?
Yep.
Teddy, what the hell?
Hey, me, huh?
Teddy, what the hell? What the hell?
What the hell?
All right. Thank you, Teddy. Good work.
Crushed it, man.
Did we wake him?
I don't know.
What was the first sound? I'd like to revisit again the first sound that he made. Teddy Atlas is a good talker. That's an audio problem with us and an interviewing problem with me.
Yep.
What is that? That's what I'm asking you. What was that sound? Because was he eating something?
Yep.
Huh.
Any theories?
I need to hear it in the long form again.
You need context?
Yes,
you need context
yes,
on this.
Yes.
All right, we'll get the longer version. Boxing trainer Teddy Atlas, what the hell, man?
Yep.
He's eating something. Guillermo, put it on the poll. Was Teddy Atlas eating something?
I mean, I know what happened there, and it's a product of how crazy that that segment is. I accidentally potted up, since there's no numbers on my pot. That is clearly Carrot Top biting into a sandwich, waiting for his turn.
It wasn't even Teddy.
So we identified the correct action. Okay, now see, that's the proper context that Stugotz was asking for. Okay, so if you're just joining us, let's recap this for a second. Last night was crazy. All right. There was a call that got reversed that was really important, and it was like the 17th most interesting thing that happened last night.
There's also a guy who maybe played the greatest game in NBA Finals history.
That's about the 40th most interesting thing from last night. And so there was just total chaos at the end of the game. There was a severed head rolling on the floor. Some dude caught fire. And J.R. Smith ran in the wrong direction, and we still don't know whether he was running in the wrong direction because he was trying to fast break the other basket, whether LeBron was going to chase him down from behind. If it would have been better if JaVale McGee or Swaggy P had tried to foul him on purpose because they too didn't know the score. And it was just total chaos. And then afterward in the press conference, LeBron James got mad at Mark Schwartz. We were trying to reach him in the middle of that. That would have been funny. Just asking Mark Schwartz, what the hell? And so we decided to interview a bunch of people about what everyone's talking about today in sports. And as part of that interview process, we called famed boxing trader Teddy Atlas. But Mike's been spinning today, as we've all been spinning today. And so what absolutely happens here is Mike pods up the wrong telephone, and you get, when I ask Teddy Atlas a what the hell question, you get the exclusive ESPN radio sound of Carrot Top biting into a sandwich. Boxing trainer Teddy Atlas, what the hell, man?
Yep.
Teddy, what the hell?
Hey, Nick.
Teddy, what the hell? What the hell?
What the hell?
All right, thank you, Teddy. Good work. And it's funny, Mike. Mike, why are you suffering that one? It's the single funniest thing on the show today.
Because Mike strives for perfection as a producer, and this is not it.
This is less than perfection.
Yep.
That's exactly how I thought it sounded, Carrot. Isn't that what you thought? If I told you, if I didn't give you any context, and I just played the sound, wouldn't you guess that that's Carrot Top eating a sandwich, even if I didn't tell you Carrot Top was there?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like. That's I feel like that's lunch with Carrot Top.
Yep.
Were you asking him if he was ready? Is that what he was answering while eating a sandwich? Because it sounds like he's trying to say something.
No, he was on hold waiting for his turn, so that was him clearly eating a sandwich.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Be proud of yourself, Mike. You did good work today.
Yep.
Nobody covered this story the way we did.
Yep.
Tell me I'm wrong.
What the hell?
Trick Daddy, I'm telling you.
Yeah, Trick.
I mean, he
Wow.
crushed it, man.
He always brings it.
Great analysis.
Yep.
I think I texted Barry Manilow to Method Man as well. Like we're yeah.
geez,
I don't because there
What the hell?
there was a lot happening, man. There was a lot happening.
Yep.
In the middle of all of that last night, how much did you love Draymond Green pretending to shake pom-poms at Kendrick Perkins, who was scowling at him, but that's just his face. Kendrick Perkins is kind of like a mascot. The mascot can't change the behavior.
He was really expressionless. Yeah.
I mean, it's just he is staring at everyone menacingly. Think about that for a second. Basketball does such a good job with that. They allow these guys to be their personalities, even if their personalities are that of a jackass. Like they allow everybody. Everybody's allowed to behave that way.
Right.
How often do you see that? The idea of a guy on the bench in his suit and Draymond Green is just doing like a cheerleader. He is mocking him to his face that overtly. He is mocking a 6'10" man of substantive, or considered to be of substantive menace. He's sitting there mocking him by pretending to be a cheerleader, saying, stay over there. I'm playing, you're not.
I loved it, but I think that team just allows Draymond to be Draymond, and I think it's easier for that team to allow their players to be their players because they keep winning everything, you know? But they do. They encourage Draymond, hey, just be you, man, and they support him, and they back him up.
This is where you are right about what Kevin Durant did by choosing this team. And I have no objection to it because many of us would choose to make our jobs easier if we could. But that team is built so extraordinarily that Kevin Durant could have a meek, passive, lazy game. Lazy game that ends with him getting pushed out of the way by airheaded J.R. Smith. And they still withstand 51-8-8 from the best player I've ever seen. That's where that Kevin Durant can spend the whole game not even trying that hard, while LeBron James is going to 51-8-8. Because I'm telling you, you can't watch the game that Kevin Durant played last night and say that was his maximum effort. And at the very end, that was no effort. Like to get pushed out by J.R. Smith.
That's bad.
On a rebound. And like if it didn't matter at all, like if it was a regular season game.
Dan, the optics are so bad for him last night. If you consider Kevin Durant to be the second best, third best player, it doesn't matter, okay? He's one of the top 3 players in the world. On one side, you have a guy literally dragging a bunch of guys on the road at Golden State.
It's not literally.
I mean, he has them on their backs.
Literally on his back.
Okay? He's got 51 points, and he's got, the rebounds and the assists, and he's the only reason they're in the game, and Kevin Durant is just kind of on cruise control. That's the big difference. That's it.
But they win anyway. They win anyway, and
he doesn't win. LeBron wins more than Kevin Durant does. He does. LeBron wins more by losing than Kevin Durant does by winning.
Not at the end of the series, he doesn't. I don't
know about that.
Not maybe on one night.
I think LeBron wins Finals MVP. Even if the Warriors sweep him.
We've already had this conversation. We had it a few years ago. He should have gotten MVP off of the losing team because of the stat line he put up. But we didn't. We gave it to Andre Iguodala, one of the weakest Finals MVPs in the history of the sport.
Yep.
Dan Batard.
I have a child.
Stugotz.
Farts smell worse when you need to make a poopy.
This is the Dan Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Guest on the Dan Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Here's your SportsCenter update. I've got no shot here. Kartik Nemani won the Scripps National Spelling Bee, I think. His final round opponent, Nisha Modi, misspelled the word Biwastin, meaning a state of consciousness. Kartik had to spell two words to win, with his final word being koinonia, which means communion.
Can you spell that first word? Can you spell it?
Sure. You watch the It's BEWUSSTSEINSLAGE. I get it? And finally, the Flaming Lips plan to release a record with Miley Cyrus's urine mixed into the vinyl copies. For all the latest headlines and information, tune in the SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day. What if I told you that until last night, there was never a shot J.R. Smith didn't want to take? That LeBron's pants were the second most ridiculous thing about last night's game. That the real reason J.R. did that is because he was looking for an open Kyrie Irving. That he would have chucked it up if it were a bowl of tortilla soup. That he slipped on George Hill's urine. That the next morning he woke up to a gift basket from the Colangelos. That an Ambien rep came out and said running out the clock in a tie game is not a side effect of their drug. That marijuana affects your memory. That it was actually one hell of a rebound. That Kyrie Irving deviated his surgically repaired septum laughing. That Kevin Love wasn't the only Cav who was concussed. That the guy who gave LeBron the most trouble last night was Mark Schwartz. That JR still thinks the Cavs are leading the series 1-0. That you can't spell Smith without the S-M-H. ESPN Films presents Penny One's Guess, the story of what was going on in J.R. Smith's head.
Stugotz brought up something funny during the break. Guillermo, put this on the poll, please. Does J.R. Smith burst through the locker room doors today as if nothing happened?
Big game 2 coming up, fellas. Let's go.
Woo, finger guns. Everybody ready? Does he act the way he does every other day? Put that on the poll, please. Let's update some of the other polls at Le Batard Show.
Yep. Did you know that there was such a thing as a 68-pound catfish? 55% of the audience said yes. Does Draymond Green look like he's shooting while wearing a backpack? Such a great question. 96% of the audience said yes.
It's weird, though, right?
He looks very restricted.
Yes, either that or a parachute.
Very funny. Would LeBron's suit have been cool if J.R. Smith would have remembered the score? I told you, Dad. 67% of the audience said yes. He mocked the suit because they lost. Yeah.
If he had won going 51-8-8 wearing a suit that had pants that were short.
Yes. Would have been cool.
Do you think they sold a lot? You remember, I think, was it Pharrell that made some sort of ridiculous hat popular, like a Rangers hat? Do you think that sold because LeBron James wore it last night?
No.
But if they'd won, it would have.
Oh, yeah. Flying off the racks. It's probably pretty expensive, too, so I don't know. Who sounds like he makes the more expensive bag? Thom Brown or Tom Ford? Thom Brown is our winner, 57%.
Tom Brown was the bag that LeBron, a very angry LeBron in shorts, after picking up sunglasses, his earbuds, and this bag stormed out and told Mark Schwartz, be better tomorrow. That bag is $41,000. It is made by THOMBRONE. The E will cost you an extra $17,000.
I think that bag sold.
I probably.
Was George Hill happy that J.R. Smith did that? 83% of the audience said yes. Do you, like Dan, think that J.R. Smith was running towards the wrong basket? Guys, this has never happened in show history. Ever. Never. Ever.
What happened? I don't even know what to expect here.
What happened?
I'm going to tell you.
What? Tell me, please.
50% of the people said yes. 50% of the people said no.
Impossible. Impossible.
It happened.
Impossible.
50-50.
I can't take
That's never happened.
Yep.
Shut the front door. I'm leaving. I'm out of here. Wow.
50% thought he was going one way. 50% thought he was going the other way.
Wow.
Distribution.
How about that?
That is wacky. Yeah, I mean, my gosh.
Never happened.
At that moment, was Klay Thompson only interested in anarchy? Best question of the day.
Klay Thompson was so confused that he just ran to half court the way you would try to scare children on Halloween.
He was
cutting wearing a costume, just like screaming and jazz hands.
He was cutting down the middle. He was trying to fill the fast break for J.R. Smith and the Warriors.
That too.
Yep. Oh, man, that's great. What would have been the funnier end to regulation? Swaggy P or JaVale McGee fouling J.R. Smith, or LeBron blocking J.R. Smith's shot at the wrong basket?
Chase down block.
Yes. 78% of the audience said LeBron blocking J.R.'s shot. If you are a 65-year-old making a living performing as Cinderella for children, aren't you allowed to be drunk? Totally think you are.
That was an underrated part of our show today.
It was great.
That Tim Kurkjian told that story of a 65-year-old drunk Cinderella ruining his kid's birthday party.
Yes, 89% of the audience said yes. Which is funnier, what J.R. Smith did, if J.R. Smith would have thrown the ball up in the air and started celebrating, or a J.R. fast break dunk on the wrong basket? Throwing the ball up in the air is the winner, 50% of the votes.
How many?
Well, there's three options here. 50% of the votes. That would have been funny. I mean, JR just throws it up, tries to jump into LeBron's hands to celebrate.
You think throwing it up in the air is funnier than him buzzer-beating dunk at the other on the wrong basket?
It's just, imagine JR takes it out to that extent where not only he's got this big rebound and he thinks they're up 1-0 and everyone's yelling at him, and he throws it up in the air and runs towards LeBron James, who punches him in the face.
Best scenario, which we thought of afterwards, was LeBron actually blocking that dunk attempt.
Like that Miami coach in a tie when his 5-year-old kid was going the wrong way, that viral video of a 5-year-old going toward the wrong basket and the coach coming out in a tie and blocking his shot, like LeBron doing that.
I have some early votes here on J.R. Smith bursting through the doors today. Did J.R. Smith burst through the doors today like nothing happened? This is pacing at 98% right now.
Yeah.
I think that's our record.
This show ain't free. Time for some ads.
We're going to open up the club in the next segment, but put this on the poll as well, Guillermo. We'll let the listeners decide. Make it a piano bar. You want to hear that 30 for 30 again? Yes or no? The mocking 30 for 30, yes or no? Listeners decide.
Don Le Batard.
It's Friday. I'm getting into the weekend. I want to get my drink on.
Stugotz.
We've got to open up the club. Open it. Open it. Open it. Now. What is the computer buffering? There it is.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
What if I told you that until last night, there was never a shot J.R. Smith didn't want to take? That LeBron's pants were the second most ridiculous thing about last night's game. That the real reason J.R. did that is because he was looking for an open Kyrie Irving. That he would have chucked it up if it were a bowl of tortilla soup. That he slipped on George Hill's urine. That the next morning he woke up to a gift basket from the Colangelos. That an Ambien rep came out and said running out the clock in a tie game is not a side effect of their drug. That marijuana affects your memory. That it was actually one hell of a rebound. That Kyrie Irving deviated his surgically repaired septum laughing. That Kevin Love wasn't the only Kev who was concussed. That the guy who gave LeBron the most trouble last night was Mark Schwartz. That JR still thinks the Cavs are leading the series 1-0. That you can't spell Smith without the S-M-H. ESPN Films presents Penny One's Guess, the story of what was going on in J.R. Smith's head.
You should have heard how many takes it took because Stugotz swallows H's to get that anyone's guess recorded correctly. How many? Give us a number.
17, I believe.
I mean, it was tough. Every time during the show I walked in here, Stugotz was doing that. Also, a good suggestion by a listener who said we should have had the marijuana line twice. Marijuana affects your memory. I just should have done it twice. Speaking of which, let's open up the club. Let's open up the club. Party time.
Yeah.
Mike, I never even got to the resume of J.R. Smith moments. I've got a long list here. You want me to just throw them in? Sure. Leaked direct message of him asking a woman if she's trying to get the pipe has since been photographed autographing a PVC pipe. David Stern once fined him $25,000 for tweeting out a picture of a thong-wearing woman's butt. He once gave an uncontested layup because he was busy saying hello and dapping up Jason Terry on the Bucks bench during play. He missed nearly 80 practices in China, almost $1 million in fines. Celebrated his first NBA title by taking his shirt off and never putting it on again all summer. Rode a hoverboard through the arena before Game 4 of the finals. Once fined $50,000 for untying opponent's shoelaces. Did it to Dwight Howard and Sean Marion.
Hall of Fame career.
In response to rumors swirling after both being photographed at the same club, Rihanna took to Instagram to strongly dispel rumors by messaging a user that was blaming JR's poor playoff performance on her by saying, bleep you and your whack team, nobody don't want that desert thirsty dude.
It's been read.
I've got more. I can't get to it all because we got to open up the club. First sound in the club.
Tied at 107, my bad.
So terrible, man.
Tied at 107, my bad.
It's really getting buried, that story. I mean, I feel awful for him, man.
Yeah.
Tied at 107, my bad.
No, you don't. Who else is in the club? Who is that? Oh, that's Mike Leach. Mike Leach trying to clear his throat. Who else is in the club?
Yep.
Ah, that's Carrot Top eating a sandwich, of course.
Yep.
So great.
It sounds like Carrot Top eating a sandwich.
Yep.
Who else in the club?
The destiny of this Cleveland Cavaliers team was always obvious. Some of us just told you early.
Who else in the club?
La pone en órbita, Hill.
Yes, the free throw by Hill was put into orbit.
Qué barbaridad, qué manera de no estar en el partido, J.R. Smith.
What a monstrosity. What a way to not be in the game. Who else?
What are you doing, Wagner?
That's Hawk Harrelson from 6 years ago.
What are you doing, Wagner?
He was mad at an umpire.
What are you doing, Wagner?
Who else in the club?
Some of us just know basketball. Some of us should be renamed Wilstradamus.
Who else in the club?
Oh, boy.
Yeah, that was Greg. I mean, wow, this has been a busy week. Greg Cody died on air. That's what it sounded like at the end, right before we buried him.
Poor guy.
I'm fine.
Don't worry about him. He's fine. Who else in the club?
Go Ed Malloy!
Oh, it's welcome. Should be in every club every week. Who else?
Ed Malloy!
Yeah. Who else?
Well, what the hell?
I didn't even really know the score based on what JR was doing.
That's the two-time MVP.
Qué falta de mente de J.R. Smith, Dios mío.
When I blew my nose, my left eye popped out of its socket.